Just a man on a mission, ambition to never fail. Personality electric, he is animated male. Intelligent and wise, calm and often cool. Chris James giving opinions while also speaking the truth. Empathy and compassion. Stephen Michael is here, helping you through your traumas, helping you with your fears. These three forces combine and keep it honest. Turn up the volume, cause this is the application of knowledge.
Welcome to the animated. Welcome to the Application Knowledge Podcast. I am Animated Mel, Chris James, Stephen Michael.
This man wants this podcast to be his so bad.
No, nigga.
Wow.
I'm thinking like my name because I'm introducing myself first, so that's why I always say animated or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. You want it to be called the Animated Mel Podcast. That's what you want.
Not at all. You know what I mean? This is episode 92. 92, what it do? Hope
We went viral. We're popular. We're famous now.
Yeah, we going viral out in these streets, man. Hey, YouTube be doing it too, though.
Does it?
Yeah, more than Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, it just depends on whatever.
Do the same clips get traction?
Similar. Similar. It's bigger on TikTok, but similar on YouTube. But
Did you know that for Gen Z, TikTok is the #1 search engine? It's like their #1 place for information.
Bigger than Google?
Yeah.
what is Gen Z considered?
Your little brother or sister, if you have one.
Oh, like at what age though?
It's right under us. If it's Steven, is that? No,
I don't
no,
know
no.
the age. I mean, I think that we are.
It's 2000 maybe.
I
Born in
don't know,
2000.
man. I don't be thinking.
Because Siobhan would be Gen Y, right?
I don't understand them.
I don't either.
Yeah, generations. They're not. It's not super defined. I think.
Okay.
Like you look at different things, it'll tell you different dates.
All right. Gen Z is current ages 11 to 26.
11 to 26.
Yeah.
It's Gen Z or
Gen Z.
Gen Z. Yeah.
So
11 to 26.
We
and
would be
then
what?
We're millennials.
So we don't even get a gen.
We're generation.
I mean, everyone
I don't
doesn't
like
get a
gen
gen.
anyway. I prefer rum.
The one above us are Gen X.
X.
So our parents are Gen X, and then you have
We were
the
told we
baby
were
boomers.
I thought we were millennials
No. We were told we were. Well, maybe not.
because I always think of Y2K
Yeah, maybe you.
or Y2J.
I was told we
Chris
were
Jericho.
X. So everybody, my year. Steve, what were you told when you were younger?
We were Gen X.
Okay.
X.
Even
Y,
though
Z.
that,
So what's after Z?
I guess why?
How they skip Y?
Well, it goes from baby boomers to letters, so
Man, I don't care about these.
I mean, you have World War II generation, post-war, Boomers 1, Boomers 2, Gen X, Millennials, Gen Z,
So what would our parents be considered? Old, just
Generation
old?
X.
Gen X.
Oh, Gen X.
Gen
Okay.
X or baby boomers, depending, I guess.
Depending on their age. Yeah, I think our parents are literally on the cusp right
What
there.
about the people that's older than them? Still Gen X?
No, they're they're
baby
boomers. They're Boomers 2.
And then what about the people that's before them?
Boomers 1.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
You're just gonna keep going, aren't
I
you?
want to know the origin. Like, where is this? Where is it like stop?
It's never going to stop. They started it, and now they want to keep it going.
So people that was in like year 0,
Oh God.
what would they be considered?
I think that they would just
They
be
do-
considered
They do AD,
before Christ.
AD and BC.
BC.
BC boomers.
BC Boomers.
Yeah, I mean, shout
Anybody
out to
bef-
the BC boomers out. I know you ain't alive,
they'll,
but hey, rest
they'll
in peace.
never see it.
they can feel it.
You said they could feel it.
They can feel it.
Wherever they're at, I'm sure they're not worried about us.
I'm sure they're not.
Yeah, y'all don't know that.
Maybe we're one of them.
Yeah, maybe we're
You got
maybe
recycled.
we are the vessels of them. You know what I mean? Because energy is never destroyed; it's only transferred. You know what I mean? You feel me? Mm-hmm. Why y'all looking at me like I'm like I'm crazy?
Trying to make you go viral.
Nah, I'm not gonna go viral.
Yeah, that's true.
Because y'all be going there. Y'all do y'all thing. So, all right, is there any particular place that y'all want to start discussing before I talk about whatever I talk about? Anything pressing in the world that's happening in your lives, or anything that you've seen that caught your mind or idea? I mean, I did want to tell my NPC story that I told Chris already.
You met an NPC?
Yeah.
You went on a date?
No.
Now
I was,
doesn't go on dates.
I only thought about it because I was talking with Anthony, and ended up telling him about it And I was just like, oh, you know what? I haven't talked about this. So I'm gonna talk about it on the podcast. But okay, I was at a Whole Foods, and do my little grocery shopping and all that stuff, and then walked in that bad boy, and then this guy, he came in. It was like shortly after, because I was in the produce section. He came in. He's like, "Hey, is that your car out there?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "That's a Genesis, right?" I was like, "Oh yeah." He said, "Man, those are really nice cars, man. Those really nice cars." I was like, "Yeah, man, I really enjoy it." He's just like, "Man, I have like a 2012 car that it's just like it's good quality, it lasts long and all that stuff." It's like, "Oh wow." I said, "Yeah, man, I enjoy this car and like I take care of it and all that stuff." And he's like, "Hey, do you know the origin of it?" And I was just like, "No, I don't know the origin of the car." And he was just like, "Well, they were like a competitor of BMW, and so a lot of their parts they kind of remodeled to make it like a better version of like BMW and things like that." And he started giving me like the history and all. I was like, "Oh wow." I said, "I didn't even know that." I was like, "Yeah, man, I got this bad boy in 2020 right before the pandemic started. And so I really haven't been able to drive it like the way I wanted to." And he was just like, "Wow." And then just walked off. It just walked the fuck off. And I sat there. I'm just like, "Nigga, what just happened?" Like, he didn't say bye. "Hey, it was nice talking to you," or anything. Literally just went on his merry little way.
So you said pandemic.
No, just mentioning the car. We're talking about the fucking car.
No, I'm saying, but as soon as you said 2020, but the pandemic, haven't been able to drive it like I wanted to.
He went on his fucking way like an NPC. It's more like if you're in a game, like a Grand Theft Auto game or maybe a Final Fantasy, you talk to a character. Mm-hmm. That's how the conversation went. And y'all are all in the like we didn't even make eye contact. I was standing like, "Nigga, you ain't gonna say nothing to me." Like, no bye, no nothing. You just leave. I was just like, yeah, we're in a world full of people that are NPCs.
He didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to bring it up. He didn't want to have nothing. No, you said the pandemic and he left.
Which is fine. But the way the conversation ended was...
You're missing my point.
I told you, I just understand it. I said, but the way the conversation ended, it wasn't like a dismissive thing. It's just, he completed his sentence. He just, and then walked the fuck off.
Yeah.
That's literally how NPCs.
That's how NPCs are. You know what I mean? I mean, it is what it is, but I'm just saying, like, nigga, like, you didn't, like, where's the context? Especially since I read a lot of manga and I watch anime that talks about, like, video games. Like, this dude is a video game character, man.
Why do you think he did that?
Because this nigga is a video game character. You know what I mean? He's
Agent Smith.
He's indoctrinated in this damn what's that thing that we...
The Matrix?
No, the Matrix is a...
Simulation?
Bam, that's the word I'm looking for.
Do you think if you said a different sentence, if you didn't say sentence A and you said sentence B, there would have been a different outcome?
Probably.
That's what my point was.
Fine. I'm talking about the NBC aspect.
That's
like, you're literally the only person who had a reaction like that.
That's weird because I wouldn't have thought that. Like, I haven't driven it since I didn't get to drive it much because of
right.
Like, what?
Right. Nah, it was just having a conversation.
Because even if let's just say that was his thing, right? Like, he didn't want to talk about it for whatever reason. He could have just been like, "All right, well, shoot, it was good to speak to you."
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, well, nice meeting you, nice talking to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was weird.
just immediately walk off. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I started laughing. I was just like, oh snap, I've never had that happen to me before.
Only you would have that happen,
right?
Right.
But yeah, man, I thought it was funny though. But there's a lot of NPCs. Do you think that we are in a simulation? Have you ever had like situations you're like, whoa, this is a little bit too, uncommon or uncharacteristic of a human interaction? Because I feel like we are in a sense in a simulation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the nature of our world. That's just the design, just the way
that people are programmed.
We mimic nature with our technology and it's all just trying to mimic nature. So if we create video games, then we live in a video game. It's just what we call real life has this thing called death, whereas within a video game, it's not death. the finality
You
of
get
it.
save points in video games.
Yeah, it's just you can respawn, but a lot of people do believe we respawn here. It's just our like my particular belief that I was taught is you don't respawn. But if we did believe that we respawned, there would be no different from us being in a video game.
What if that's actually what's happening when we die?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that believe that.
Like, we die here, we respawn, but it's in a world that's not in this presence, but it's in an exact, like, replica, duplicate of everything that's already happened, but you go back to a particular point.
Well, I mean, that wasn't talking about that. I'm talking about reincarnation, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's just a different concept. I mean, because I think reincarnation is something that, I don't know. I think it's something that's true because I don't think we die. You know, I think I think we leave this body, and what we know of this would be different. But I don't think we die. You know, I think we're everlasting. At least I feel like we're everlasting. You know, like it'll be an eternity. You know, but I don't think that when you die that there's either a location where you burn in hell and stuff like that.
oh my God, how did we get there?
You know, because a lot of people think about death, and I mean, I know when I was a kid and I got to the religious part, I'm gonna burn in hell, you know, if I don't be good. So I was like, you know, I'm not gonna be bad anymore. But I do.
When was that?
What?
When did you decide you were gonna be good so you don't burn in hell? Because I don't remember that part.
What? Well, me being good? You trying to call me evil?
I'm not
nigga?
trying to call you evil. I'm just trying to figure out when that happened.
Yeah, me, shit. Nigga, I've always been good. I think I'm a good guy. Yeah, I mean, but you know, I think that life is an everlasting thing, and it'll never stop. I think it'll continuously go, regardless if you know, because people always talk about the end of the world, but what is the end of the world? Like, do you have meteors coming down, or because like even if meteors and comets and all this global destruction and like tsunamis and volcanoes, if all this happened, life would still exist. You just probably wouldn't be here, but things will still exist. So what do you think the end of the world looks like?
You closing your eyes for the final time.
Okay. From just a perspective,
That's the only end of the world you'll ever know.
as far as, okay, you dying would be the end of the world then, in a sense, or just getting out of this reality that we're in would be the end of the world.
Yeah. You just said it. The world goes on without you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because they always have those moments where the end of the world is coming and people go into this panic, and I'm just like, bruh, like, where is this? Like, how does it look? They even had that movie, End of the World, and I was just like, it's always this catastrophic event of some meteor or something happening, and it never occurs. You know, you have a lot of like
The Earth. I don't think the Earth can be destroyed. That's my personal opinion. I don't think the Earth can be destroyed. I don't think nuclear weapons can destroy the Earth. I don't even believe in nuclear weapons personally.
You don't believe in nuclear weapons?
No. I think it's like, I think nuclear weapons are akin to the, HIV testing. Like,
It's something. Do you think it's something? I guess nuclear, where they hold it there because they already painted the picture of what we think nuclear is, and so when we hear nuclear, we're already instilled with this, I guess, hesitance or fear to do something, or a threat of something nuclear.
they've created in our minds what a nuclear explosion is and what it looks like and the damage it does, and you know, all of that stuff. But I don't think they actually exist. It's just the fear of it. The fear is real, but the actual thing is not, in my opinion. And I know Steve might have a different opinion, but I've studied nuclear materials. The materials aren't even what they're said to be. Like, if nuclear materials, if nuclear weapons were what they're supposed to be, why is there all of this manipulation behind the materials? And so, for example, and I was listening to this dude talk about how he used to work at a nuclear reactor or something like that, and they would bring in the material, plutonium or whatever, and they would put it in a bath, in a bath, like in a tub, in a whatever water, and they would mix in uranium or whatever, and those two would react, and it would make steam, and that's what it is. They're just steam engines. They're just steam. They manufacture steam. That's what they do. And they said, as long as you kept the two materials away from each other, there was no reaction. They were completely safe. So their little Geiger counters just, and they were around it all the time, and it's fine until you touch it together. Then you get a blue spark or whatever. To the point where they would even swim in those pools where they would actually generate the energy from. And he said one day the government came in and was like, this stuff is toxic. This is extremely toxic. It'll kill you. It'll cause disease and blah, blah, blah. And they just started changing all the regulation, and that was it. One day it was safe, and they were swimming in it. And then the next day you had to have suits and have all these warning labels and everything. And also, if you just think about it, I mean, it's a naturally occurring mineral. This is not man-made. They mine it. How toxic can it be? It grows in nature.
What is it particularly that would be something? What is it the thing that they mine?
It's just like rocks. There's minerals.
And it creates this energy.
Yeah, you've never seen rocks where you can get energy from rocks either by touching them together or,
I mean, I know they have those type of properties. Okay.
It's a reaction.
Because do you think there's some because anytime we read like comic books or any type of Marvel type of stuff, they always have nuclear plant or they've been influenced by this nuclear type
who made those Marvel books?
Well, I mean, there's various people, but who's Stan Lee?
And never mind.
Oh, I get where you're going. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Never mind.
Nigga, don't do that.
No,
Not here.
No, never mind. Never mind.
Bro, just because you got banned for a week, then you ain't gotta bring that energy over here, cause we gotta prosper over here, man. You know what I mean? It's second-line offense. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shit, the first berry's already down, nigga. Ain't getting that. Oh no, nigga, they getting us. Niggas gonna get us from all where.
Marvel, Disney, all these guys, they all worked. They all had a relationship with the government. And remember, I think on the last show I talked about propaganda or commercials and how they use commercials to manipulate people. You don't think the comic books and the Disney it's all part of it.
Yeah.
So if you're a child and you see Spider-Man get hit by a radioactive spider, well, it's not a normal spider. It's something wrong with this spider. It's a mutated spider. It's radioactive.
Yeah.
Right? So it builds up that thing in your head. Okay, radiation's bad. It makes Spider-Mans. Like it's all.
Nigga, I've always thought if we got bit by a radioactive spider or something radioactive, where he kind of like nuclear or chemical power plant or something, I was like, yo, we better get some powers, cuz. Cats still be doing that nowadays. Like, I guess it's the show Heroes or whatever, where people get their powers.
That's an old show.
I know, but is there like a series where a particular day and like people get assigned powers? Like, how did that work? I know because you liked Heroes. I know Anthony liked Heroes as well.
Everybody liked Heroes.
I've never watched it. So.
Steve, you watch Heroes?
Yeah,
it was
I did.
amazing.
It was a great show.
Yeah, you just never watched it.
Yeah, I've never watched it.
Yeah, that's the only reason you didn't like it.
No, I didn't say I didn't like it. I just
You haven't watched it. How can you like it?
I know. I didn't say I didn't like it.
I know, but I'm saying, no. I'm saying like that's why I was just saying you don't know to say that you like it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine it's pretty good. I mean, that's how typically all shows go. But they always have this thing where a particular time of year where they'll say the heroes have gotten their power. They even do it on Instagram and stuff like that. You know, but they're just being playful. I'm not sure if it came from Heroes or if it came from a different show or anything like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But I've always thought that there was some kind of relation between nuclear power energy and because, fake stuff typically has, it's like the truth in the world, but it's just hidden.
I mean, look, man, the rocks make electricity. Like, It does. So it's that.
But we wouldn't be like a conduit for that power, though. We would get the reaction we get from that would be painful and ow. Yeah, I mean, I'm not meant to, make you jump over buildings or fly or have these supernatural abilities that are uncommon.
I mean, I don't know about no superhuman powers, but I'm sure our bodies work in some type of similar manner. The type of energy. There's different types of energies in this world.
But there hasn't been, like, aside from the things that we naturally create, there's never any person or human that we know of that have any kind of abilities that's outside.
Oh yeah,
the
there's
norm.
plenty of people. Yeah, it's plenty. Yeah, but it's not from plutonium.
What do you mean? There's plenty?
There's plenty of people with supernatural powers. People,
but they just get it, just from birth.
No, I mean some people train for it. Some people.
What would be an example of that?
Of which one?
Like a supernatural ability or
That someone
power
trained
that
for?
someone has already.
There's a girl in China. I think she's either China or Japan. I believe she's alive today, and she has. You haven't seen Kuroko no Basket, have you?
Not yet. It's
Steve,
on my
have you
list.
seen? No. Okay, so there's a character on there that can copy anyone's move.
Okay, I remember you telling me something about
Yeah. There's a girl in real life that can copy. She could watch a professional, maybe their archery or maybe they shoot pistols or whatever. She could watch them one or two times and basically absorb their ability.
That's dope.
If that's not supernatural, I don't know what is. Like that's like Rogue.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much Rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's dope.
I would like that.
I'm not mad at that's a dope power.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a sense of clairvoyance in a sense, or just to have the immediate focus to watch their position, their body power, and how much force they're exuding and things. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine if you had that ability and you were going into like a race, like one of those 300-meter dashes in the Olympics or whatever, and you're watching like the top, what's his name, Usain Bolt or something like that, and you're able to mimic that, bruh, I would show up. I would do that like in the NFL. I'm trying to get a contract, bro. I would go to the best wide receiver, or matter of fact, I go to the best quarterback.
I'm about to say.
Yeah, I go to Tom Brady.
Wow.
Mimic his abilities. You know what I mean? And be like, all right, and I'll show up for a tryout. They gonna be like, hey, y'all heard this dude, Animated Dale? He out there killing combine. He ain't had no experience. He had one training thing with Tom Brady. Now he's the best quarterback ever. I would swindle all these cats out here, man. All these big corporations out there swindle. Why would you do that, right?
I think you got to have the physical capacity though. Like if you don't have the muscle, the leg
I think I could be a
strength or-
quarterback.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think that you could, but like with that anime character that I'm telling y'all about, he can only do so much because
Do within his realm of
with
possibilities
his
based on his body.
physicality. So he can't perfect copy. And I think at one point his ability does improve.
Yeah.
But it's very hard for him to just perfect copy everybody, like, maintain it and stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to something a little bit more interesting.
Steve said, "I'm not having any viral moments this time."
I mean,
When you all are when you're in a relationship, just in general, with people, family, what do you think comes first in a relationship? The wife or the children? If you have your family, you're the, who do you think comes first in a relationship? The wife or the children? It's a nice little interesting little debate that I heard about. I was like,
Makes sense for the person who's the only person that's been married to start, huh?
I don't know, nigga. You want to talk today, nigga?
is there more context to this, or
No, that's it. If you want to ask more questions, or if you want to create a scenario, but like just in a situation, like who's more important in a relationship? Like is the priority for like from the man's perspective, who should you take care of more, the wife or the child?
So, obviously, in this scenario, I guess I'm married, and if I have children as well, my wife is going to be part of that hierarchy. She's going to be number one for me, and then after that are going to be my children. So, the biggest reason for that, as a man, your job is to take care of everybody. Your job is to take care of you're the covering for the entire family. So you're the covering for the wife. You're the covering for the children, right? Your daughter, your son. You have a specific role for each one of those individuals. And, of course, in religious texts, they say that God covers the husband covers the wife covers the children, right? So that's the hierarchy. So, my wife is always going to come first. Now, that doesn't mean that my children aren't going to be fed, doesn't mean they're not going to have clothes, doesn't mean they're not going to have my time, my energy, my attention, doesn't mean any of that. Doesn't mean that if they're going to get neglected. It just means that she's my priority. And then her job, right? Because just like any other hierarchy, everyone has a job. Her job is to, of course, make sure that I'm taken care of. Then the children are taken care of, right? She has her own hierarchy. But as a man, my job is to take care of my wife and then my children after that. Because at the end of the day, my children are going to grow up. They're going to learn from me. They're going to watch the way that I interact with their mother. They're going to watch the way that I work. They're going to, pick up my mannerisms. They're going to pick up the things that I do on a day-to-day, how I take care of business, right? They're going to pay attention to all that stuff. And then they're going to move on with their life. After they move on, I still have my own life. And I think one of the biggest problems that happens when people become parents is that they say, oh, my children are number one in my life. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make when they become parents. And I see this not just in relationships, but I see this as a wellness coach that's worked with hundreds, if not more, people. I see this in their health, how they literally will be somewhat healthy. They have a personality, they're outgoing, and then all of a sudden they have children, and then they just completely neglect themselves. And they're like, well, my children come first. My children got to be number one. And then, like, sometimes I have I ask a question or I have a conversation, and I'm like, well, listen, I understand you have to put your children number one. I get what you're saying, right? But putting your children number one doesn't mean neglect of self. It doesn't mean that you neglect yourself, and that doesn't mean that you don't make time for yourself. And it's just like, well, what do you do in a situation if you're like, well, my children are always number one, but what do you do in a situation where you guys get in a car accident and your children die? Like, then what? Does your life cease to exist now? Like, are you not going to be able to move forward? Like, what then happens? So it's just like, you telling somebody don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's the same thing. So I look at it holistically, not just from the stance of right now, but long term. If you invest into a wife and you're investing into her for forever, for that's what the goal is. If you're marrying her, it's forever. So, and as your children grow, they'll move on and they'll have their own lives. And, you still have a wife that you plan to be with for the remainder of your time. So wife, then children.
I'll rock with that. What do you think about that?
I completely disagree. No, I'm joking. Steve's like, here we go.
I echo some of the sentiments, from non-experience, but I think it would make sense that, just in the general, especially if the man is supposed to be like the head of the household, it should break down to the, just the men, woman, children. I mean, because if you neglect the head, if like for instance, if the woman was to neglect the man and only focused on the children, that will create some kind of some issue in a sense, because the man has to be, you know, he has his needs and need to be taken care of and things of that nature. But I mean, that's speaking from a perspective in the middle of the hierarchy versus working the way down. But yeah, I mean, I echo some of the sentiments that Stephen was speaking about, and hopefully one day in this life, yeah, I mean, once I find me a little breezy out there,
Said God willing.
yeah, I mean, God willing, God willing, I found a stable, sensible, crazy, you know what I mean, crazy and cool woman, you know what I mean.
Just take crazy. Home.
Crazy out, all right, yeah, not crazy. I had enough crazy. You know what I mean? I'm crazy enough. Oh, you ain't gotta agree so hard. But what do you think about the who's most important, the woman or the children in the relationship?
It's hard for me to even see the argument for the children, to be honest with you. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense for a woman to say that, because as Steve described the hierarchy, the woman's job is to take care of the children and to cover the children or whatever. So I can see why women do that now, but that even becomes a problem for them, especially if they're single moms. You know, you'll hear a single mom, oh my, first thing she said, my children come first.
Yeah.
So then you're not interested in getting married.
It's a red flag.
Like y'all, like
to me.
You should not be looking for a husband. That's for sure.
But a lot of women who say that, they don't see that as a red flag. They don't
because
view it
because they're the woman saying it.
and so that's immediately going to be
But what about the consumer, right? Like if I'm the man and I'm consuming, does what matters to me matter? Like, do you care what I care about at all? Which, I mean, by making that statement, it shows me that you don't understand men. You're just basically saying something. You're just talking. You're just talking. This is the reason why it's important for women to be married before they have children, because their natural inclination is just to want to take care of the children first. In a relationship where you've got, you know, a husband and wife, they were married, maybe they spent some time together before they had children, they'll typically agree, yes, our children come first. It's like our children come first thing. Yeah. But as a man coming into a situation where a woman already has children, he's going to feel like an outsider. No man wants to do that. Like, why? And then you take on all the risk of a mother and her children, just very unattractive. But I don't hear men say that. I was just thinking, I'm like, man, do my children come first? I mean, obviously I don't date men. So usually when you hear this, it's in the context of dating. But even my male friends who have children, who we've talked about dating, I've never heard them say that before.
I'm your only male friend.
Okay.
I have male friends who are single. I have friends who are literal single dads, as in the moms are not present. Mm-hmm. I have never heard them say that. Right. Never, not once. Yeah. There was a reel that went. I mean, it had a lot of traction on Instagram, and it was a Spanish woman, and you know there was a street interview, and they were just like, okay, who comes first? Your husband? She was married. Who comes first? Your husband, your children, or your father? Right. So these men in your life, it was her husband, your son, and your father. And she said, "Oh, my husband is number one. My son is number two. My dad is number three." Right. And, which she broke down her reasoning or whatever. But then, the comments were just like, they went crazy.
Oh, wow.
Right. So a lot of the comments were like, as a woman, why would you ever put a man or, other words I'm not going to say in front of your child? I would never do that. And it's just like, you can just hear the way that they speak about men. Like, they'll say, oh, my kid's dad, or, oh, my baby daddy, or, it's like, well, first of all, this is a conversation for people who are married, number one, and understand that there's a hierarchy. So if you as a woman, so I explained, so the man's job, or the husband's job, let me not say the man, because this is the husband's job is to cover everybody. He takes care of everyone. He takes his attention, he splits it up between the wife, his daughter, his son, everybody, right? His parents, or his wife's parents, or his in-laws. Like, he has a lot of work that he has to do as a husband, which the wife doesn't necessarily have to do. They're not really the ones that are having to try to get in with their husband's in-laws. You know what I mean? Like, it's usually the husband that has to then earn the trust and the, of her parents. Anyway, but so he has a lot of energy that he has to output. But as the wife, then her job is to put her husband first, right? And the reason for that is because if the man is pouring into the children and he's pouring into his wife and he's taking care of everybody, right? If you think of a cup, he's basically pouring into everybody else. He's basically left empty. So the wife's job is to make sure that he's taken care of, whether it's emotionally, physically. She pours into him. And then, of course, she also then her responsibilities are to take care of the children. The problem becomes when you get into a relationship where, number one, a woman already has children, because this is usually where this happens, or for whatever reason, they start getting in arguments and then she starts focusing on the children more. The man is still putting out all of his energy into the wife, into the children, and then he becomes neglected. The wife is no longer giving him sex. She's no longer giving him attention. She's tired. She's worn out, yada, 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 right? And I understand, she probably works and this and that. That's neither here nor there. But if he's not getting the things that he was getting before, which was maybe a rub down at night or maybe a home cooked meal 3 or 4 nights a week, right? He's not getting any of those things anymore. He's going to feel neglected, and then he's going to stop wanting to put out. He's going to feel like, you know what? I don't even care about this anymore. So
that'll probably make him want to step out on the relationship.
Right.
In a sense, because a lot of people, they'll look at the man for stepping out on the relationship, but not understanding the reasons. They'll just look at him stepping out like, you shouldn't.
What do you mean the reasons? He's a dog. That's why. He's a man. He's a
dog.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, he's seen a bone out there and he's just trying to nibble. You feel me? But it's like, you look at the woman, like what happened in this, because I don't think men just cheat. Like there's always a reason. I would assume there's always a reason. I've never cheated, but you got to make that clear. Shout out to my my faithful men out there. All my people in relationship regardless. But I've never been in a situation to cheat, but I understand why men would cheat if they have been in a relationship, as Steven's talking about. And they're not getting that put out that they're used to getting. You know what I mean?
Put out?
It's just simply reciprocation.
Yeah, putting out that buzzer.
It's just,
Wow.
You gotta put something out, right?
it's energy. It is gratefulness, thankfulness. Like,
Yeah.
it's just reciprocation, simply.
Yeah, there's balance, right? Like, at the end of the day, this should all be normal. Like, this shouldn't even be a question, a discussion.
Shouldn't it?
The problem is most people are in backwards relationships where they want to equate their situationship to a healthy marriage, and it's like, bro, there's a reason why that woman's answer rubs you the wrong way,
Right.
and part of it is because you don't have that mindset, that wife mindset, which might be why you're not a wife.
Right.
Like, women, I notice a lot of women just assume that because they have a vagina, they're capable of being a wife. And it's just like, what? Like, where do you go to a job and just because you're a living, breathing human being, you're qualified for the job? For every job, there's a set of requirements or qualifications. Some require higher education or different degrees. Some require specialty knowledge or specialty skills, etc. Just because you're a living, breathing human being doesn't mean you're qualified for the job. It's no different from being a wife and even a mother. Just because you have the reproductive system to produce a child doesn't mean that you're qualified to be a mother. And so I think the problem is that entitlement.
So you pro-life? Or
What does that have to do with anything?
It's pro-life or what's that?
I don't even know what that means, Mel. I'm not into any of that political psychobabble.
Gotcha. Go
All
ahead.
right. So I think that this goes for men as well, right? Just because you're a man doesn't mean you deserve a wife and or children. A lot of men think they're ready to be fathers, and they're not anywhere near ready to be fathers. That's one of the biggest issues we have is a lot of young fathers out here trying to fumble their way through life. Of course, you've always got those outliers, and every once in a while you find a couple that even though they're both underprepared for both, jobs, they're able to come together and make it work. But the reality is, me personally, I think a man shouldn't even really be considering marriage until his mid-30s, early to mid-30s. And then there's a financial aspect that we were talking about the wage earlier. I don't know if you're going to put it in, but, if you don't make enough money, you you need to make a certain amount of money to have a family.
Yeah.
And a family is not having a wife. It's a wife and children. It's a family. You need to, because if your wife cannot work, maybe because she's pregnant with your son or your daughter, then you have to be able to maintain a certain level, a certain standard without her income.
Yeah. So you don't think it's ideal for men, well, let's say a woman, she did, have some kind of income. You don't think that it's ideal to enter into a family unless the man is able to take 100% of that, that burden.
Correct. I don't think it's ideal. In a perfect world, obviously we know that doesn't happen, but in a perfect world, if you want to eliminate the burden, the financial burden that comes and all the stress, because you got to think, if the woman has to work in order for us to really have a certain level of lifestyle, then if she's pregnant, now there's extra stress on her to go back to work, which means that covering, Steve was talking about how the man's supposed to cover the woman covers the child. Now it's discombobulated because her focus isn't on the child anymore. It's on getting back to the work so she can help cover the family holistically, and that's where a lot of women, they have something to say about men who want certain things from women, whether it's femininity or submission and whatever, and they really don't deserve it. That's kind of where women be coming from with that, which I agree with. Obviously both of us have issues, things we need to work on. Not everybody believes that. I did meet somebody who was like, no, women are perfect. We're not the problem. It's always y'all's fault. I said, okay, Miss, she needs to wear that anti-accountability shirt. Like, if they don't, I'm sure they make it. I'm going to get it for her one day. I'm going to send it to her for her birthday. Anti-accountability. But
A lot of people should have that shirt.
yes. Yeah, so it's not, it goes both ways. But obviously, a lot of times people don't think about that. People don't think, women especially, they don't think about whether or not they're suitable to be a wife.
Well, that's because a lot of them have never seen it. Where's the example of it? I was watching this clip, and this woman was talking to another woman, and they were talking about being a wife. She's like, yeah, I'm a wife. And she said, name me 3 wives that you know in your life, like of your own family, of your flesh and blood. Name me 3. And then there was a couple of the women just sitting around. They all were like, I'm trying to think. I don't even know, literally. And it made me sit and think. And I said, hold on a second. Do I know 3 of my own flesh and blood? Right.
3 wives?
Right.
Of your own front. I
could just off the top of my head, I could think of
I
2.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it just made me, I didn't really think more than past that. I didn't really, but it was just like, hold on a second. Right. It made me think. And it's just we follow what we see, right? Last week we talked about conditioning, and we follow what we see. If you don't see wives growing up, if you don't see your mother as a wife and what she's supposed to do, if you don't see wives in your aunts, and if you don't see wives in your church, dealing with their husbands in a proper way, then how do you know?
Well, how many husbands have we seen?
What you mean? And
I'm just saying, we haven't seen wives, but what's the counter to that? If we haven't seen wives and women don't have an example of how to be a wife, what husbands have we seen to be an example of how to be a proper husband? Are we just going out there just doing, just freestyling it based on what we think a husband should be? But what examples of husbands?
Well, that was my point. Men don't even know what their priority should be before starting a family. If there's no wives, there's no husbands.
Well, yes, but
yeah, but there needs to be an example that of so you can know how to move. I mean, because the conversation we were just talking about was based on financial status. You shouldn't get into a relationship or start a family if you don't have you're not financially able to do that. But in the scenario of if you want to become a husband, how do you properly become a husband if you never had an example of what a husband should be?
That's what I was agreeing with you.
Okay, yeah. But you said we were talking about money. Well, not money. It was something different.
Well, I mean, that's part of it, though. Like, the financial aspect is like the main thing. What do women say they want? They want a provider. What is a piece of provision? You know what I mean? Making sure there's a roof, clothes, food. So, and in our world, those things take money. There's a certain, and then typically on top of roof, clothes, food, people want a certain type of roof, a certain type of clothes.
See, I think that's where the issue is, because you can, when you say that I want a provider, and there's a lot of men out there that can provide, but the problem is that you have a standard, right? Which I have. Everyone has their standard. I have no problem with anyone's standard, but you then get into these situationships with men that don't meet that standard, and then you have children with these men that don't meet that standard, and then you try to make something work if you try, but or then you don't try, and then you get mad at him when he doesn't meet that standard now because there's a kid coming. It's like, you knew this from the beginning. You knew from the beginning that he didn't have a job that could take care of your luxury apartment, or he couldn't pay for your Mercedes, or he couldn't take you out to all these different places. Like, if you have a certain standard, well, then stop going out and just having sex with all these dudes or whatever that don't meet that. Like, I mean, this is part of the issue with why we don't have families.
Because people are just giving it up. Giving it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they just because they just want sex. Right? It's just like, well, I want to be able to go out and just have sex. And like it goes back to, how women hold the key to sex. Like, and people say, oh, women have urges as well. Of course, I get that. Everyone has urges, but of course, practice some discipline. So if men were required to meet a woman's standard before she gave him sex, then it would cause men to level up because men want sex, right? Like, I mean, you just look at, I have a friend right now, for example, who, he was somebody I knew from my skate community, and, he was, it's not him, but he was out, like, and he was like drinking, he was partying, he'd come to the rink lit. I mean, I've seen him almost get in fights because he was drunk and just having a good time. And then
niggas trying to fight at the skating rink?
I mean, no, he was just having a good time. People want to try to fight him.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? But then, right, and I knew he was messing around with a couple girls or whatever, and then he gets in a relationship. Right, he gets in a relationship with this girl, and he like falls in love with her. She seems like a very good girl from what I can see. They have similar interests, and then all of a sudden, I've watched his Instagram change. Like, literally, the energy that I get from his posts, everything changes. He started posting more of his gaming content, and it started to actually like look like he was trying to put something together. And then he just posted the other day. He was like, yeah, I'm getting my fitness in check. I've been getting too husky. Like, I mean, literally, I watched this man begin to change because a woman came into his life.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, I obviously don't know if
powerful.
He was doing that for her or what the situation is, but we see this all the time with men. Right? Men will start to change and transform when there is a good woman that is then placed into their life. So it's just like, it sounds like one of those things where it's like, I'm putting it on the woman, but it's really, I'm not, right? Obviously I'm putting it on the men. Like, we've said this time and time again, men, stop chasing pussy. Like, focus on bettering yourself, focus on getting more income, Focus on going to the gym. Focus on getting your health in order. And then you will bring those women towards you, right? You'll attract them. But you can just see if you open your eyes, like, and so many people don't have quality men in their life, unfortunately, right? They don't see this, but you will see how a woman will come into a man's life and then all of a sudden he will start growing and changing for a woman he really likes, right? That he's really attracted to. So I just think that in general, if women began to, I don't know, hold a standard for their own vagina and just say, no, I want you to be a decent man. I want to, like, just stop just letting anybody hit and just stop having kids with everybody. Then I think that in general, men would then naturally begin to level themselves up because that's what we do. We're always going to chase. That's never going to change. But we will then become better because we want some pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was 400 pounds, like, I used to be like, man, I already know, man, when I lose weight, I'm definitely getting more pussy. You know what I'm saying? And technically I didn't, but that's because I stopped chasing it. But I definitely got way more female attention just when I started to lose weight and I started to fix my finances. I bought a new car, right? I instantly started getting more female attention. So I just think that men need to level themselves up, and I think that women need to start holding men to a higher standard before just letting them smash.
Aside from is there anything you want to touch on in regards to what he's talking about? Because I know you like to bring it back a lot. You like the boomerang when we be talking about something else. So I want to give you a chance.
No, I mean, I think that he's correct. If women, 50 years ago, like, you could marry a virgin. Now you cannot. You're not going to marry a virgin.
Yeah.
Like, the likelihood of you marrying a virgin is so slim. It's not even a thing that's talked about. Whereas before it was like, bro, you're not a virgin. Like, it's not even on the table anymore. So, obviously a lot has changed. And look, at the end of the day, our grandfathers were getting better women for less effort. And I think that women have lost sight of, like, the average guy who's just a good guy. He's, women tend to want to lean towards the guys that can provide this luxe lifestyle. And it's destroying our families because there's not enough of those men to go around, number one. Number two, all of the women are chasing them. So they're not going to really give you what it is that you claim you want, because they've built themselves up to a point where they have options and they are men and they're going to execute them options. And so, like, the average guy who would have been your grandfather, like, let's be honest, women talk about, we want traditional men. Okay, you talking about your grandfather. Okay, cool. He was the average guy. Like,
yeah, right. It's like they want to hit the lottery every time they're with someone instead of just dating just a regular dude.
It's like beyond the lottery, Mel. It's like, bro, like, you just want everything to be what you want it to be, period. You've got 30-year-old women who are single and never been married and beautiful. There's something wrong. That doesn't make sense. And people will say, they can be single and they can be 30 and they can be beautiful. Yeah, but you all claim your goal is to get married, though. See, if women holistically, right, we're not talking about 100% of women, but if women holistically didn't claim that they wanted to be married, I would let that slide. I would say, you're right, they can be 30 and single and never married with no children. And that's nothing wrong with that. But these are all women claiming they want to be married and have a family. But you're 30 and you're single with no children and you're attractive. There's something wrong. It's not for a lack of men trying to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Even if you're a below average woman, you've got men talking to you all day long. So it's not that. What could it be? Oh, maybe your standard is unimaginably high. Can you have standards? Yes, you can. But your standards have to be reasonable based on the marketplace. Like, if there's
social media has just messed everything up.
Social media has skewed women's standards. They don't want their grandfather. They say they do. I want the traditional man. Okay, he was an average guy working at the steel mill. You know how much he made at the steel mill? Y'all were happy to get a car.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a $100,000 plus man. So do you want your grandfather or not? I'm confused. And it's frustrating because it's like you have these women out here who are literally just average women because the average woman is attractive. But she's just an average. When I say she's beautiful, I'm just saying she's an average looking girl.
And there's nothing wrong with average. That's the crazy thing. Like, you know, when you see these, you know, street interviews and they're like, oh, well, you're 5 or 6, and then they get offended. And it's just like, bro, like average is the median of everyone. So if the average is 5, right? It's right down the middle. Even a 4 would still be cute.
And you know what's funny, Steve? The average isn't even 5. The average is probably like 4.
Well, I'm just saying in
there are
general,
more-
if the scale was 1 to 10, the average would be 5.
I mean, that would be the half of the scale. But if we actually were able to like categorize,
Oh, you're
people,
talking about based upon like how many actual 10s
How many
there are
actual
versus
10s
the
are out
ones?
there?
Oh yeah. I mean when you
there's
like,
less people on the 10 side of the scale
Yeah.
than on the 1 side.
yeah, absolutely.
So the average isn't even 5. It's probably
It's-
like 4.
Yeah. So it's just like, bro, that's actually like to say that you're a 5 or 6, that's a compliment. Like if you get a 7, like a legit 7, it's just like, okay, you're probably very attractive.
You're very attractive.
Like, and it's just like it's just like, well, no, I'm a 10. It's like, bro, like when y'all say this, it's just the most frustrating thing is because like they equate that rating with confidence, and it's just like you can be a confident 6. Like I can objectively look at another man or another woman and say, oh well, no, they're probably more attractive than me. Like you can objectively say that. That doesn't mean you're not confident in who you are, right? But people just be like, oh no, if she thinks she's a 10, why do you want to tear down her confidence? It's not tearing down her confidence. It's not objective reality. Like
we have 2 different lenses. Men and women have 2 different lenses. That's why these conversations are so hard to have, because women look at it through one lens, men look at it through another, and we're just seeing the same thing different ways. So we're like, when we're talking, we're not actually talking about the same thing, even though we're talking about the same thing. You know, like, you know, it's like, okay, if we had let's just say we had 10 sacks of rice.
why couldn't we just say bags?
10 sacks of rice.
Sacks.
Pause him. Why don't you pause him?
I went to football. You said what?
Why don't you pause him?
10 sacks of rice?
Nah, you said we have 10 sacks.
I went to football.
Oh, see, when I say something, you
Because
pause me.
you be saying some gay shit. If
You don't think the 10 sacks was gay?
You could have just say pause it.
Nah, I didn't.
Maybe
know.
I would have.
That's not my
I would have
thing.
heard it. Be like, oh, okay, I see Al. Just say pause it.
All right, so you have 10 sacks.
You can say
There-
Pause.
Because hold on, in Texas, when we first moved here, and I was working at like a retail location, customers they would come in, and they would say, "Yeah, I need a sack with that," and I was confused for a moment.
I mean, are we at White Castle?
No, that's what they call bags.
Oh,
That's what they call bags here in Texas. I'm like, sack? What is a sack? She said, the bag. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, I'm from Ohio, so I'm not used to that lingo. So that was like something that I learned when I first moved here. They say sack. They also say fixing. Mm-hmm. I'm fixing to do that.
yeah.
I think that's most. It's adorable. It's like an adorable.
You hear that on the
saying.
East Coast too.
Fixing?
Yeah.
I never heard fixing.
East Coast.
Okay.
I think it's just
It's
southern.
an old
I
school.
think it's just southern.
It's like an old school. Well, whatever. I don't know. I heard it on the East Coast.
Okay, but yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt your example.
No, yeah, you interrupted.
Yeah, it is what it is, but I got you back.
So you have 10 sacks of rice.
All right.
Okay? And you have a scale. And every single sack of rice weighs different. You have one sack that weighs 1 pound. You have one sack that weighs 3 pounds. You have a sack that weighs 10 pounds. You put all 10 sacks on. You figure out exactly what the weight of each one is. And that is just what it is. One sack of rice is 1 pound. Another sack of rice is 10. It doesn't does it mean that the 1 pound of rice is not rice? Does it mean it's not good rice? Does it mean anything? No. It's just simply not 10 pounds of rice. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
You like It's just like, well, if you're not a 10, you no.
Right.
You're just not.
You still rice, baby.
You're still rice.
You can get boiled. Like
I still throw some
some little seasoning
some
in
seasoning there. You know what I mean? Like
I
maybe
cook you in some vegetable soup.
you know, I'll
Some
mix you up
vegetable
with
broth.
some mushrooms or something. Like you still good.
It's
You
just-
just not
it's still
10. You just
rice.
not 10 pounds.
It's
of
not
rice.
have nothing to do with
Unless you're in America.
confidence. It has nothing. It's just observable reality. That's no different from a woman or a guy being like, "Yeah, I weigh 150 pounds," when you're clearly 200. No, you're 200 pounds. Why are you trying to bring their confidence down? No, they're 200 pounds. Like, this is not about a confidence thing.
That's why when people like they like back up Lizzo, they go, "Oh, she's so beautiful." Well, yeah, you look just like her. They get offended.
Right.
They
right.
would get offended if they say
Wow,
everyone says
nice.
Lizzo or these these bigger people, they're attractive, but yes, you look just like them. I guarantee they'll feel offended.
Very
Yeah.
good. bro.
Guaranteed.
Very good.
Like, bro,
'Cause it's
look-
cap.
Yeah, y'all, you're lying. Just
Y'all
to,
know it's a lie. Mm-hmm. Like
It's just like it's not even. It's just like it's more delusion than anything instead of just accepting it for what it is. And I don't know where that higher standard comes from though. Like, what do you?
Cosmo.
you know, but also I think that women also when they do these ratings, I think that they also just factor in face, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll
Yeah,
just
that's why a lot of people do more face shots. Than
they'll just be
anything.
like, oh no, she's
Or headshot.
beautiful. Like I didn't say that she wasn't. Her face wasn't cute, but I mean, what about the rest of her? You know, like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We just see everything. Whatever we see.
anything to make the numbers work, right?
Right.
Like because see what you're saying, I agree with, but also what they'll also do is they'll include their personality. Oh, I have a great
Yes.
personality. She's a sweetheart. What does that have to do with how she looks?
Right.
When we say looks, we're talking about looks, and we're not just talking about that cute little dimple. We're talking about how your actual entire body looks.
Right.
You know
How
what I'm
you
saying?
actually look. Because you have a man who he'll date, he'll marry a 3 or 4, right? And he'll say, you know, like he'll even say, like, you know, my wife, you know, she ain't all that. But she got a good personality. She take care of me. She give me sex on my birthday. You know what I mean? Like those type of guys. Like they know she's not the most beautiful thing in the world, right? But he still loves her. Like guys can do that.
Yeah.
Like I can look at my when I was married, like I knew my wife wasn't the most beautiful thing in the world, you know what I mean? But I liked her when I married her.
I thought she was pretty.
I don't think that she was ugly. Like
Why
she
y'all keep using past tense?
what?
Was I mean because
I mean,
it is
you know,
what it
she
is.
changed.
You know, some people change and
I
evolve.
just keep hearing all this past tense
You know
when
what
I
mean?
first met her.
Sometimes you start off as Charmander, then you evolve to motherfucking Charizard. That's all I'm saying. It's evolution, baby. It's part of life. It happens. Hey, can we switch? You know, because I don't want to seem like we're just pointing out the negatives and bashing when it comes to the women.
Are we?
I don't know. I don't think we are, but a lot of people
First of all, I think I
don't
did a
defend
good.
it. But all I'm saying is a lot of people they say that we're just pointing out all the negatives.
No, that's all they hear because I
Exactly.
specifically talked about men.
I did as well, intentionally.
But I just want to highlight what is there.
Whatever.
I gotta cater to the audience, baby. Like, is there like when it comes to our women?
Women are princesses.
They're all queens.
They're queens.
Yeah, make this surreal.
You should never allow a woman to touch a door.
Never.
She should never have to open up her pocketbook.
Never.
ever.
I'm gonna tell y'all
She
something.
shouldn't even have to use a card. She should have Apple Pay, which means she should not have an Android.
She didn't even have. She shouldn't have to walk. She should have someone who's personally carry her everywhere
Yeah.
she goes.
Look, if y'all are taking these women out and you make her walk anywhere, whether it's from the car to the restaurant, from the restaurant to the table, you're not doing your job as a
Definitely
You're
not doing
you're
your
definitely
job.
not. You're a failure as a man.
Yeah.
You need to step it up.
Like-
if you're allowing a woman to have to open her own door to her apartment when she's coming out of her apartment, you know, you should already know to come out of your car. She's going to text you and let you know, hey, I'm not on my way. Bam. As soon as she gets ready to fucking open, you better be right there holding the door for her to
full
make sure.
court press, bro.
You know what I mean?
You
You
gotta guard her like Curry.
You better-
full court press.
You better make sure that you open that damn door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Soon as you start dating her, I need you to go ahead. If you were a real man,
Right.
right? If you were a real man, as soon as you start dating her, right after the first date, the first thing you need to be doing is, number one, picking up her cell phone bill, making sure that you get, hey, baby, how much do your nails cost? How much does your hair cost every month? I'm going to make sure that I Zelle you this amount of money, $300. I'll Zelle you on the first every month.
Yeah.
So that way you can make sure you get your hair done, your nails done, and I take care of your cell phone bill. Real men do that.
So the first date is really about figuring out how you can pay for everything that she's got going on.
I mean, basically,
Why
like,
shouldn't it be that?
And if you don't make enough money, you either need to start working extra time
Just
or
get
you
another-
need to leave that girl alone.
just get a second job, or go get somebody else.
Go get somebody else. You're not suitable for her.
Nah.
And matter of fact, I would take it as far as like, we talked about the cheesecake thing. That guy was 100% at fault.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Definitely was at fault.
He was at
Facts.
100% fault. He should have known to take her to this extravagant restaurant because she's a queen. She needs to be treated this way.
She's
Well,
getting courted. She showed up. She was
She had
dressed beautifully.
the purple
she had the
lipstick.
purple lipstick with the matching
All that.
contrasting
She took her
dress.
time to get dressed, and he should be thanking her. You know what? Thank you for allowing me to wait an extra hour. For
He didn't have nothing else to do. He
Actually-
was sitting in her presence, basking, waiting, anticipating her.
actually, look. Here's how I knew that he knew he was wrong. When he originally said that he told her, "Okay, I'm gonna come get you at 4," thinking she might actually be a little late.
Right.
So what you should have done is you should have scheduled 2.
He should have two
different
appointments.
restaurants because he knew the type of woman that she was. You think she throws that together in 5 minutes?
Absolutely not. It's going to take at least an hour.
You know it's gonna take an hour. So he should have had a backup restaurant already on point,
Prepaid for her.
prepaid for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I'm not sure if he gave her a compliment, but in general, when we go on dates, we have to make sure that we are stepping up and acknowledging the woman for who they are. If they're wearing something nice and they took all their time, every single day that we see them, we must make it apparent and let them know, hey, I see you putting in all this effort and you're dressing nice and you're dressing well. Even if you say it and you don't get any compliments or anything, it doesn't matter, because how you feel, it doesn't matter. It's all about her. Everything needs to be highlighted about her. And so you're not doing your job as a man if you aren't putting in the effort to acknowledge, her outfit, even if it's, on some bullshit. You know what I mean?
No, if she feels good, you feel good.
That's all that matters. Just put her number one. Happy wife, happy life. Even if she's not your wife, happy girlfriend.
I mean, what are you
as-
pursuing her for if you don't plan on marrying her?
Right. What's the point?
So, happy life, happy wife, start from day one.
Might as well.
Don't introduce her to an energy that you cannot maintain.
I mean, I don't see why we don't teach that in high school to all the young men.
And also, here's the thing y'all got to understand about these young women. They're going to match energy. So if you provide Lux lifestyle, Lux experience, you put her first, you make sure all of her needs are met, you cook for her, you don't let her touch doors, you buy her whatever she wants, you pay all of her bills, she's going to be there.
She needs to
Accepting it.
She's going to give you back what she can in a feminine way, the same way you gave her nails, the money, the cars, the clothes, the protection. You got beat up on the street because a guy touched her butt and you went to fight him and he had 3 friends and you still got beat up. She's going to stay by your side because you did everything you could to take care of her, man.
And then, she should be able to wear what she wants.
Yeah, let her wear whatever. What do you mean?
course. She has-
If you're a confident man.
She has to be comfortable. Like they make these clothes and all that stuff that define beauty. Why shouldn't we allow our women to dress the way that makes them feel confident and makes them feel, even if it puts the men at risk? Like, you should learn martial arts.
Yeah.
You should be able to do something that's protecting your woman at all times.
Provide and protect.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's your job.
If she wants to dress in a mini skirt that's revealing everything, it's showing her body looks nice. She should be feel comfortable enough to walk on any street, even if it's in like a downtown over the Rhine area where there's homeless people and things. Like, you should be able to protect this woman.
Yeah.
You should
At
have
all costs.
At all costs, you should have that mindset to put that woman first and say, you know what, I'm going to protect this woman going down this crazy street with these cats who looking like they'll do anything for a piece of this. You ain't getting a piece of mine. You know what I mean? Ain't happening, man. So yeah, man.
That's what real men do.
Yeah, man. So ladies, we understand.
We got your back.
We got your back. We got to make sure the fellas out there, they understand.
I'm not playing. Look, Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that y'all got to realize, right? A beautiful woman, she's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have no problem investing in stocks and bonds and, different companies, startups and things of that nature. So you're going to invest in a woman the same way you would invest in a bond or something that's going to pay you dividends or pay you interest.
That makes sense.
Because, in 5-10 years, you know what I'm saying? She's like fine wine. She's only going to get better
It's
with
gonna
time.
get better with
Only
age.
going to get better.
Only
with
going to
time.
get better with time.
Every woman is like wine. They're
Yeah.
getting better with time.
Yeah.
You got a guaranteed rate of return, right? And the more you invest today, the more you're going to get 5 years from now when she's still there.
This is easy money.
It's like don't even look at the women who haven't learned much about life. We don't want those women who don't have much,
life experience.
Yeah, we don't want that. We need the woman who has all this experience. We need someone who's aged and they have all this personal experience.
At least 30 and up, right?
At least 30.
I mean,
they have to have, if they have multiple partners, it's okay because it makes us feel more comfortable.
I bet you won't be complaining when she put it down in the bed.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The more people she's been with, the more experience she has, she can take care of you. Why would you want somebody who's only been with a couple people who really don't know what she's doing?
Right. If she's like timid and scared, well, not scared because that'd be a little bit crazy. Like, you can't be scared getting it in. But she's like, a little shy in the situation. She ain't got enough experience.
Yeah, you don't want that.
You know what? Go back to the streets. Once you get out of those streets, we gonna take you out of the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we be like, all right, we want you. This is exactly how we want you.
Look, the reality is a real man wants a woman who knows what she wants.
Right.
And in order for a woman to know what she wants, she got to be well-traveled. She's got to have multiple partners, multiple experiences. This is going to help her develop through trial and error. She thought she wanted that. No, she figured out she don't want that. By the time she gets to you, she knows you are exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
When she chooses you got to think she done been through 14, 15, 25 different men. Think about it. And she's choosing you.
Yeah.
That means you are creme de la creme.
And she got all the DMs, she got all these options, and she chose you.
You know what I mean?
You should feel lucky.
You should feel like the first Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
know what I
should feel
mean?
like Ash Ketchum.
You know what I mean?
I choose you, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? All that. So yeah, shout out to the women out there who who's getting that example and all that stuff.
They gonna love us for that one.
Bro, our channel's about to sky.
We about to go to the moon, baby.
we gonna kill the host with that
We
one.
gonna kill the host with that
We
one.
gonna kill him.
Hey, I tried. All right, last thing that we could wrap. This do you think that I want to ask you all, in relationships, are you the first one? How often are you the first one to initiate sex? Like, how often does that occur to you? I'll answer this one because I'll never answer questions. I don't really initiate sex.
Are we talking about in a relationship?
Yeah, when you're in a relationship.
So we're together.
in a woman. You're with a woman.
No, well, of course.
In a
Who else would I be
relationship,
with?
not just exactly. I don't know, nigga. I'm just saying.
No. Well, I just wanted to
I
make
don't
sure
know.
that we
Hey,
were.
who do you like?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, you like who you like, bro.
No, I don't know that. No, I.
You just shot that target, right?
I
What section you go to, cuz? Nah, just play. Go ahead.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you're in a relationship with
Okay.
this woman.
We're not just dating.
Not just
okay.
dating.
All right.
You're boyfriend, girlfriend.
All right. Go ahead.
How often is it that you initiate sex? And me personally, I don't really initiate sex like that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I just be like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? It is what it is, you know? And sometimes it just be spur of the moment, you know what I mean? But typically the woman is the one who's like, let's get it. I'm like, all right, I'm with
That's
it.
interesting.
Yeah, for me, you know what I mean? For me. So how about you, Steven? Actually, you know what? I want to hear Chris. How about you, Chris?
I would like to go.
Oh,
First.
Okay, go ahead. You always go first.
No, Chris is going first most of today. I actually am in the same boat as you.
Really?
So yeah. And you know, my answer is probably, the reasoning is probably different, but you know, I have traditionally been more timid in that way. I'm a lot better now, but you know, just throughout my lifespan, I've just been more timid, and so I just didn't initiate. So I would do things to make her want to initiate, so I didn't have to because I was afraid to. But I do much better now.
So you use your smarts.
Yeah. So I would get her to the point where she wants it bad enough to initiate it. But
What would be an example of that? Was it foreplay or something? Or would you say something like, "Hey, man, I wish I had my."
No, nothing like that. Like I would like. So I'm a very romantic person, and
Very?
yeah.
Steven's probably the most romantic person I know. as
Yeah,
far
I'm
as
a very
guys.
romantic person, and I would do things like if
What will we consider romantic?
Oh, now Mel feels challenged.
I mean, there's all different kinds of things. Like I'm the type that I might send you a random gift, and then the gift I might spray a card with cologne on it, and I'll write a little
Okay,
love
is that
letter.
considered romantic or just doing too much?
Why is it doing too much?
No, I'm just asking. Because
mean-
sometimes, like, bro, you need to relax. Not you, just in general. I'm just like, bro, you need to relax. Like allow the romance to be accepted instead of just.
I mean, I wouldn't do that. Well, gifts and is not something that I traditionally am a big fan of, but
Giving gifts.
Yeah, giving gifts.
Okay.
But I don't know, just over the years I've just changed, and I like giving things now, right? But I wouldn't do that off the bat. It's just that it just depends.
You go sit next to me on this podcast and lie.
What do you mean?
And you wouldn't just do that off the bat.
Okay, well you're talking. No, you stop trying to play me. I'm talking about like flowers is okay. So for example, like I think that flowers are romantic. I think that women find that to be romantic. I think that romance also is intimacy.
But does romance have to be deserved, or do you just do it in general?
Oh, I think that I'm a romantic person.
So you just do it even if you feel like that woman hasn't done anything to attain that level of
I'm not
affection
gonna change who I am.
Mel, we just had a whole segment talking about what a woman deserves.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I don't want to.
You're right. My bad.
I don't want to hear this from you right now.
How dare you?
My bad. You know what? I'm sorry. You know what? My bad.
No. In all seriousness, no, that doesn't mean me personally. There's certain things that I just desire to do because that's just who I am, right? But that doesn't mean that I give everybody everything 100% off front. Like, I still hold things back. But you all right? Oh, I thought you were holding your side, man.
I'm sitting.
Oh, okay.
needed-
I was making
okay.
sure.
I mean,
you
no,
was
my
okay.
ass is kind of uncomfortable in these chairs at the moment. But,
Oh, okay. I was just making sure you was all right, man.
nigga, stop looking at me.
I mean, what am I supposed to look at?
Now go ahead.
Okay. So, no, man, I'm romantic. There was I can't this guy. In nature. So I just like to do things, you know what I mean? Like get a little oil, you know what I mean? Give it a little rub down,
You need rub down.
Set the-
This
set-
is your second time saying rub down during this podcast.
well,
man.
maybe somebody's got something coming to
Hey,
them,
well.
Maybe set the mood right with the lighting, a little music. And I would do things like that, like knowing that this girl maybe would like these things, or I will set a mood based upon just knowing that women in general typically like X, Y, and Z. And then I would put her in a position to where she's like, okay, I want this.
Yeah.
And then she's going to go after it. Because
So basically, you're a natural foreplay.
I for a lot of times I liked foreplay more than actual sex. Like I liked the teasing and
The enticing.
the
Excited.
You know what I
So
mean?
you like the trailers before the movie start, huh? You sit for the trailers before the movie start, huh? You like the opening, the coming attractions, huh?
You're st-
You know what I mean?
okay. I mean, there you can't compare those two things.
I
but
don't want to watch the movie. I want the coming attractions.
you know what I mean? Like I just
it's pretty much
think
the same.
I just think that in general, when it comes to sex, you have obviously the act, right, which is amazing. But then I think that if you put the more energy and effort that you put into it prior, then I think that it just takes things to a different level. You know what I mean? Like that's just like how women will say there's a difference between the spit start where she'll be like dry and you gotta really kind of get her going, and then macaroni. You know what I'm saying? Where she's just
already gooey.
You know what I'm saying?
Gooey from the go.
From the jump.
Yeah.
So I think that when you just put that energy and that effort in prior, I think that a lot of women, because nowadays they'll have experience.
It's just like watering a seed; it'll grow.
It's just like, bro, you just put in enough energy and effort, and she'll just come. She'll do everything else. So
Now, how you gonna ask this man? Is he romantic? He has a rose on his shirt, or a chrysanthemum.
yeah, I do.
You're a fruity ass.
Why is it?
My bad. Go ahead, you sweet ass nigga. My bad. All right. Hey, Chris. I know you was over there. He was holding with anticipation. He was twirling his fingers. He's like, I'm ready to
No, I
answer.
was just entertaining myself. What's the question?
About the original question is when it comes to initiating sex, are you the one to do it more often, or does it happen with the woman?
I mean, when you talk, we talking like holistically.
That when
like
you're in a relationship,
if I've had sex 1,000 times, how many? Because
I'm not doing an average. When you're in a relationship with a woman, how common is it for
Chris
you?
said, what's a relationship?
Boyfriend, girlfriend, the person that
I didn't ask that question. Don't let that man fool you.
the woman that's in your life. I don't think you need much explaining for that. I think you
Yeah,
understand.
so we're saying I'm in an active relationship with someone. I probably initiated less than.
You think is that a common thing for men? You think?
I don't know. There's a couple reasons why. I think Steve kind of said this. Our reasoning why is probably gonna be different, but I don't know. I would initiate less.
But how about
good
romance?
question.
Romance.
Am I romantic?
Yeah.
Chris said, what's
No.
romance?
You're not romantic?
No.
What's romance?
My dude, like, I ain't never crossed the flyer section in my life. I
Here's,
ain't never went to 1-800
Here's my
flowers.
thing, man. Here's my thing. Can I be romantic? Yes. Have I done romantic things? Yes. I'm not a romantic guy. I'm not a Romeo.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Poetry over here.
My approach is from it's just a completely different angle. What's gonna turn a girl on about me is gonna be different from what Steve.
Yeah, when she gets in that car,
I like.
Chris said, I ain't got to do much.
Yeah, but he said, I ain't got to create the mood.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? He said, when you sit in them seats, you know what I mean? And I turn them lights on, you know what I mean? You hear that engine purr. So I ain't got much else I got to do. I mean, you see, there's no pushback.
I mean, it's look.
He's just like, yo, it is what it is. Trust me.
Hey, I got to put in a little more work, you know what I mean?
It's not even about that. It's just different personalities.
Different personalities.
That's all.
I couldn't even.
Chris said, you smell that $500 Tom Ford.
Being romantic, just because I've seen you.
I didn't say I cannot be romantic, but
you wouldn't be overpowering like Steven.
No.
Yeah.
Why do I have to be overpowering? Y'all see how you try to play me?
I'm not overpowering.
How do you know, Mel? I've never been romantic with you. How do you know what's overpowering? Are you a woman?
Based on the details that you've explained on previous dates in the past, nigga, you overpowering. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's way too much.
Well, back in the past when we've talked about it, it's from the standpoint of, honestly, if we're being honest, it's about leverage in a relationship. And that's probably part of the reason why I don't initiate sex as much. I know we have different opinions about women and how to handle women or treat women, but I believe that a woman has to be more into you than you are into her.
I agree with that.
So
I agree with that. I think that that's a good thing.
yeah.
Because now that does not mean I'm not into her. That just means I need you to like me more than I like you.
Do you think that if
go.
you're not initiating sex, that can cause a rift or an issue in a relationship because the woman always feels like she's the one who has to make things happen, and now you're like, fuck, all right, let's
Here's the thing, what do we consider initiation? If we're kissing and we're laying down and we're making out or whatever, and then all of a sudden, I start grabbing on your butt, is that initiating?
Initiation would be something like.
Is it like in football you make a catch and then it's not a catch until there's a football move, there's a you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the initiation? What is the move? I touch your belt.
I mean, you got to take a few steps or it's an incomplete pass.
You know what I mean? Like, what is,
The initiation, an example of initiation would be she's preparing food.
Okay.
She's getting ready to go cook. And you come up there and, you know what I mean, start whispering sweet goodness
break
in
it
her
down
ear.
for
Sweet
us.
goodies.
You know what I mean? And, you know, make nibble on the
She in the kitchen. What's she wearing?
She in the kitchen. She probably, she's probably wearing.
Regular clothes?
She got her Winnie the Pooh outfit
She
on.
got the Winnie the Pooh
Man.
with the
Oh,
flap
so
in the back.
onesie.
Yeah, I mean-
Just a big shirt.
She got, you know what I mean?
With the flap in the back.
Everything's accessible. I mean,
And I come up behind her.
you just come up grabbing goodies.
Hey,
she up there
hey.
cooking, like, and you just come up to her like, "What you cooking?
Hey, what's for dinner?
What's for this morning time? It's
Put that-
breakfast.
Oh, breakfast.
What's breakfast? First thing in the morning. They typically ain't putting stuff on in the morning.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean? They could probably fresh out the shower or something like that. You know what I mean? You got some food smelling good. You know what I mean? You all ready
Are
and
we
willing.
eating first or we not eating first?
I mean, she preparing the meal. You can't be eating it if it's still being prepared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead and finish
You know
that
what
up.
I mean?
And
You
then,
go ahead. And then you go, you know what I mean? She do your little business. That's initiating. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay, well then you know what? I think that I might initiate more than I think I do then. You know, because I put women in these positions you know, with intention. But I'm talking about the action of then, okay, she turns around and then she starts pushing me to the bedroom. Like, so if initiation is prior to that, right, then I think that I would initiate more than I actually think I do.
I think initiation is the first movement that ultimately leads to penetration or sex.
So nothing that happens in that kitchen is initiation.
No, it would be the first movement. So if she's about to cook, and then she's about to cook, she's not about to sleep with you.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you come in there and you squeeze her butt, and then she turns around, pushes you, and gets you on the couch. Then I'd give you the initiation.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I probably initiate more than I think I do. I'm not gonna say that I still initiate more, but if I gave myself credit at 20%, I give myself maybe 35 now. You know, but I think my answer's still the same.
I've been initiating all my life. I'm tired of doing it.
You tired of initiating?
All my life.
See, but I think that that's where the romantic side of me really has helped with my own insecurities and stuff growing up, because it's just, you know, once again, we create personalities to fit our life. So if I had a personality that was timid or afraid of sex because of my past, then I would create a personality that would help me to still get sex without having to go through that again mentally. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay. Why you say it like that?
because I agree.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know, man, sometimes I gotta keep my guard up with you, man. Sometimes.
Maybe you just need to let your guard down.
Not around
There's
you.
For me, there's no reason to have a guard up. I never want your bad interest. I have no ill will or ill intent. You think?
Oh, man.
I think
you
your
be
first-
setting me up.
I think your first. How I set you up?
Mal,
How I set you up? How I set you
you
up?
be setting me up.
How I set you up? How I
Talking
set you
about
up?
for the viral clips.
You be making these viral clips out of
I
me.
make you.
Yeah. You be editing them.
I don't cut anything out.
Editing magic.
You say what you say.
Nah.
And people interpret it.
Some clips be 90 seconds, some clips be 30 seconds where you could have kept something in and then, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Listen, you know what you do. You know what you do.
I don't do anything. There's
Gotta-
nothing that I can do that'll ever be enough.
I gotta keep my guard up with you.
Yeah, me. Trust me. Don't worry. I got
I know you got-
92 episodes of clips.
I know you.
Yeah, say something. Say something. Take the trash. I'm sorry, all right, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you beautiful people next time. I'm Chris James, this animated male. I'm animated male.
Oh, wow.
I'm animated male. This is Chris James. Stephen Michael. We'll see you beautiful people next time.